I want to leave you guys with some actionable advice that has really helped me in this regard. 3 things are super big, and I never hear them get talked about by the people on the interwebs.
Wow, we would have never believed this. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google. Go out there and listen to us. So we're excited about it. We're glad you're excited about it too.
What's up, guys? We're live. This is Muscle Matters. I'm Blake Burnard. That's Steve Suthers. And tonight we're going to talk about staying clean over the holidays. We're going to talk about how you guys, and really our best practices we've found over the years to keep our clients, our loved ones, and ourselves maybe out of harm's way during the holidays when it comes to, we're surrounded by grandma's cooking. We're surrounded by all kinds of candy canes and sweet treats laying around like literally every cabinet, every countertop, I go to the doctor's office, they want me to be healthier, and I just see a bunch of sugar on their counter.
I love going to my heart doctor and there's like candy. I'm like, I still have to take a blood pressure test.
Seriously. And in the world of like every holiday, we have a new Reese's candy in the shape of something festive. We all need help staying lean over the holidays. Steve, where do you start, dude?
Well, let's see. I have massive experiences with the staying clean over the holidays. My first 3 bodybuilding shows I did during the Thanksgiving break. Dumb as dumb can be. What good are abs when it's 32 degrees outside? And I remember sitting at the table and crying because I couldn't eat. I'm a foodie. I am an obese person at heart. If there's reincarnation, I'm coming back as a Buddha statue. Just want to be fat and happy. Just eat. But I remember sitting at the table, and it's a weird thing because everybody will tell you what you can actually eat that is actually healthy. And they have no idea.
Ooh, tell me about it.
And I'd be dieting for these shows, and the amount of food and things I could eat were just like slim to none. And, you can eat this. You can eat this. This is healthy for you. And I'm like, no, it's not. Oh, it's not. They're trying to put sweet potatoes in front of me with brown sugar and marshmallows, but it's sweet potatoes. So I would just tell you, avoid the family cookout if you're dieting.
There's no way. Okay, let's be a little bit more realistic. I mean, you can't say no during the holidays. The holiday cheer, you want to share that with your family. Let's just say, for instance, you're talking to somebody who, hell or high water, they know their traditions. They're going to this person's house on Christmas Eve. They're doing this thing Christmas morning. And maybe if you're like my family, you got something else, maybe another household to be at Christmas Day, right? Like, I'm getting triple, and maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience. Steve, help me.
No. I had houses I go by and pick up plates.
I have 3 run-ins with what I feel like is destiny. Okay,
Yes.
How do I avoid looking like a beluga whale at the end of that?
Well, I would honestly, if you're dieting, we have this. Depending on who you're, what you follow. I like to call them refeeds. Most people call them a cheat meal. I would definitely say, people want to have their cheat meal on Sunday. For whatever reason, universally, every person you talk to, they want a cheat meal on Sunday. It doesn't have to be Sunday. It can be any day. And you don't have to always have it on the same day. So with Thanksgiving being a big holiday, let's face it, there are other holidays, but Thanksgiving is the food holiday. Like, what's that song? Beans, potatoes, greens, yes.
Sing it.
I wish I knew the words because all I'm going to do is get hungry and we're going to have to end the show early because I got to go home and eat dinner. So I would honestly say if you're going to do that, take the food holiday. Move your cheat day to the food holiday. And most people get confused that's why I like to call them refeeds. I don't like to call them a cheat day. I like to call it a refeed.
Yeah.
You sit down and eat until your belly button pops through your jeans. And then go for a walk. And you're good.
Granted, someone's earned the right to a refeed, right? Because if we're talking about somebody who hasn't even started yet, and we're already planning the refeed, the reload, it's not going to end pretty. And in my practice, I'm talking to people, and they're like, "Well, when do I get my cheat meal?" I'm like, "We're not talking about that. We're not even uttering that word yet." Right?
I hear that one. So when's the cheat meal? You haven't made it 2 weeks yet. Let's go 2 weeks before your body still has gunk in its system. And I normally tell people and it's always it's a good thing to start your diet on after the holidays if you're going fresh. I will say that. If you're going fresh into it and you're looking the diet during the sweater season, it's a little bit better to start fresh on the new year, because then you don't avoid the temptations, you avoid the pitfalls. Because a lot of times people will make this pitfall and do experience. How many times have you seen somebody make a drop and then they're just done? Within the first couple weeks, they go eat, and then you just never hear from them again.
Woe is me. I'll never recover. It wasn't worth doing. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a little bit better to wait through the New Year's, enjoy the holidays. And when I made that joke about just don't go, I was being serious. If you're that... how would I say this? If you're that...
I feel like you're coming from the place of a competitor, though. Right?
And that's what I mean. If you're that much meticulous that it has to be brown rice, spinach, broccoli, and tilapia.
I feel like you're just setting yourself up for failure,
or
just a miserable day.
Yeah, don't go, because you're going to be the jerk, because everybody's going to be eating it. Like I said, I would go to these things, and everybody had good intentions. They had good intentions of feeding me, whether it be my daughter, my sister, my mom, my grandma. They had good intentions of feeding me. And they're right. The food is clean. What's dirty about turkey? Plain old turkey breast. There is nothing dirty about a plain old turkey breast. It's just turkey. There's nothing wrong with seasoning. Salt, pepper, lemon. I mean, anything short of sugar, there's nothing wrong with seasoning. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're in that mode, everything's wrong with it, because your brain's telling you, this is what I have to eat. I can't mess this up because I got to look a certain way. You get real.
Well, high-level operators are a little bit neurotic in that way. You have to be successful.
Yes.
You have to be. And so it comes with the turf. I agree totally with what you're saying. It's like if you know the likelihood of it doesn't even have to be like you cheated, but just the stress, right? Like how about just like elevated cortisol levels all day, feeling like you're walking on eggshells? You know what I mean? I'm a fatty too, man. I mean, I got my weight to lose as well, but I'm just like in my most neurotic, obsessive points in life. Thankfully, those were not around the holidays. I can't imagine somebody who had a show coming up end of November, beginning of December.
I mean, it sucked. It sucked because you want to spend the day with your family. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to do. My family, we always got together, and it was a day. We spent the day, cousins from the time I was knee high to a grasshopper. We were together all day long.
And can we also admit it's cultural as well?
Yes.
So like it means a lot more in like Thai families, Hispanic families. You know what I mean?
Yes, we would. That was family. They'd be cooking in there. Oh, I remember I ruined one of the Thanksgivings. I'm of African American descent. I'm black. Have you ever heard of chitterlings?
Yes.
Do you know what they actually are?
Yeah.
Have you ever walked in on somebody cleaning them?
No.
So, like I said, we're a family. We get together, and so my cousins and myself, we're all outside playing football.
Okay.
We're not allowed in the house. Like, Get out the house. We're cooking. Stay out the house. You're gonna get hit upside the head. Blah blah.
That.
So, I run in the house to get something to drink. I'm immediately hit by the smell of caca. Like, it's just straight nose caca, and I'm like, trying to struggle for breath. You had 12, 13. You don't have a filter. I'm like, what is that? And they're all, well, we're cleaning the chitterlings. And I'm like, you're cleaning them? And so my aunt, I come from a no holds barred family where they just boom. And she just said, yeah, we got to get the pig feces out of these things. And I was like, and I went outside and I told my cousins, we didn't eat any of them.
Oh my goodness!
I got in so much trouble.
You wrecked it.
I got in so much trouble because I told everybody what was.
Hell hath no fury, like a woman.
Ant?
Yeah, like a woman whose food didn't get eaten. Am I right? Yeah. Dang, dude!
And we used to tear those things up. To this day, I still won't eat. To this day, I still won't eat them. I walked in and it was just it's feces smell. But then it's left because it's fresh. They went and got fresh, and they were cleaning the feces out. So, it's like day old poop.
Maybe this is the way to keep people out of trouble. Yeah,
bottle up the
chillins, guys.
bottle up the smell and sell it.
Something, man. I don't know.
Oh.
So I think my advice to people who have goals, maybe they're not competitors, because I'm gonna be honest. I mean,
Yes.
like we deal with athletes.
Yes.
Dude, I want my athletes eating. They don't eat enough. They need to go pig out. And then the other half of my gym are busy, working professionals, just want to have a banging body and feel confident and strong and capable. So if I were to tell them, hey guys, I'm going to brief you, like I'm at the whiteboard with the pointer thing, you know, that I'm like at the beginning of Top Gun, you know, I'm like, guys, this is the mission, right? First thing I would tell them is to, like, what's worked for me, and I can only speak from personal experience on this one. What's worked for me really well is front loading my protein earlier in the day. I'm like, man, if I know I got to hit my body weight, and right now I'm walking around like 265, so I'm going to try to get in 200 grams of protein. That's 2 pounds of meat before my first engagement. And that is not only going to keep my mind off food, it's also going to make everything way more relaxed. When all my calories have come from protein, I can go straight to whatever I want later in the day.
It's called being, I mean, at that point, it's called just being sensible. I mean, you don't, sit down and have yourself a good plate. Have a good plate of food. Be sensible. You don't get to have plate 3, 4, and 5 like I did this Thursday.
You know, I haven't even celebrated Thanksgiving yet. My whole family was sick, man. We're going to do it this weekend.
Oh, I was going to say.
Later and bigger.
The turkeys are on sale.
Exactly.
So there's nothing wrong. Like you said, I like the idea of protein. I mean, turkey's clean. Ham, I would tell them to shy away from the ham, but the turkey's clean. There's nothing wrong with turkey. Eat as much of it as you want.
Well, we're heading toward Christmas now. By the time this thing airs, it's going to be Christmas time. So, like, what are your Christmas? Is it the same? It is, huh?
Pretty much the same.
Turkey
ham.
I feel like Christmas is way heavier on desserts, though.
Yeah.
Chocolates, truffles.
Well, you got the old man coming down the chimney, and you got to leave milk and cookies for him.
That's right.
So the holiday starts off jelly beans and gumdrops and candy canes. It's just all laid out. If there's such thing as an elf, they run on sugar. So
right. Well, and let's go to the other way. You guys have to understand that I'm always going to come from a place of like sustainability. It's like, how can we do this with the least stress incurred on your life? You know what I mean? The very first thing we have to identify is like, if you've been good all year, see what I did there? If you've been good and you're on Santa's nice list, guys, one meal is not going to throw off your year, and it's not going to trash your abs. In fact, have you ever noticed if you're insulin sensitive, like you wake up the next day shredded, your body overcompensates from those refeeds. Okay. Now, right now, my body does not bounce back like that. But
it's got all the carbs in it already.
Right, I wake up leaner, and it sounds counterintuitive, guys. Again, I'm talking about at 12% body fat, not 6%.
Yes.
I still, if you put in the work on the front end, it allows you the ability. Your body remembers. You know what I mean? And that Tom and I talk about that. Like, I've been lifting for 18 years. The amount of effort I have to put in at 30 years old to maintain a physique I like is so minimal compared to when I was, a frost off team.
My brother and Ed and I, we tell people because, on the larger side of the leg, especially when we were younger, we had huge tree trunks, and people used to always ask us, what'd you guys do? And it's get a trash can and squat till we puked. Mm-hmm. Do that for about a year and a half. Guess what? You don't have to do again.
That's right.
The legs are like this. They're there. They don't go anywhere. Man.
And so in terms of the diet, it's just like, I think you hit on it too. People get so bent out of shape about like the decisions they did or didn't make in the moment. And you can't go back and change that. The best thing you can do is wake up the next day and get right back on your, I don't know what,
You just remind me of so many that lifestyle.
You're getting PTSD.
Oh my goodness. I remember standing above the trash can with slices of pie and taking a long, drawn out.
Oh, I've been there.
Suck the
I've
spoon
sucked
dry.
on chocolates. I know,
and then
dude.
take another long one and then just literally drop the rest of the pie into the trash can. And at that point, I'm not that much of a meth head that I'm going to dig in the trash can and it's just like
it's like emasculating.
Just feeling my heart break as I'm looking in the trash can, going, "There's more pie,
dude."
Oh, you know who was horrible? My mother. My mother was absolutely horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. Mom, you were horrible. And I tell her about this all the time. So anytime I was getting ready for a show, my mother will never call me and ask me out to eat. But let me get ready for a show. Every single time she would call me and go, hey, you want to go have a bazooki? You want to go have a bazooki? I go, Mom, I'm doing a show. I'm trying to, it's my mom. I'm trying not to freak out.
I feel like, though, that's probably, you could almost expect that like a motherly instinct. Like, my baby's wasting away. I need to save him. You know? If you guys see Steve, I don't know what the camera's, what's in the frame right now, but this guy's not lacking any meals. Bro, so... you got to be able to dodge those relationships, I guess.
Man, I mean, without a fella, she would never the whole year. But every time it was time for a show, you want to go eat a bazooki? I'm like, Mom, you don't call me out at all. Just randomly.
You hit her with the preemptive message. Hey, don't even ask.
Oh, I remember I drove away on her one time. It was cheat meal day, and I had 4 burritos in a bag.
I can't tell if you're a strong man or a stupid man driving away from your mom like that.
So like I'm standing there listening to her talk, and I'm like, okay. The only thing my brain is telling me, food. We've got burritos, and I thought she had stopped talking, and I drove away. I rolled up the window and I drove away. She calls me on the cell phone. I go, what's up, Mom? She goes, boy, I wasn't done talking to you. I go, oh, well, you stopped. So I'm headed home now to eat.
Dang, dude.
And you shouldn't be. I mean. Coming from a proper place, you shouldn't be that obsessed with it. I mean, during that time period, it was an obsession because I had to get down and cross-rite it, blah, 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 blah. If you are, and that's what I mean when I say if you're that obsessed and it's something like that that's going on in your life, you probably shouldn't be at the family event because you're just going to be a Debbie Downer. Everybody's going to be eating and you're going to be grouchy. You're going to be mad because somebody's going to constantly be offering you a plate, especially if you've done any type of, like in the bodybuilding world. I tell people all the time my intake, and they look at me like I'm crazy, but I intaked 5 pounds of meat a day. That wasn't including the potatoes, the rice, the eggs, the shakes, the post-workout meals. Nothing like that counted. That was just the meat for the day. If I stopped over here and got another thing, so I was consuming large amounts of food. So when you come from that type of world and people are used to seeing you be an eater, they want to feed you.
That's a good point.
And all of a sudden, you're living on 6 ounces of white fish, and you're crying in between each meal.
No one hates you more than your hometown, you know? They're like, come eat with us. Hey, there are like a lot of parallels like addiction, too. You know, like coming away from that.
The biggest addiction is food.
Man,
oh, my Lord. I quit drinking and cigarettes easier than I quit food. Like, I've never looked back for a cigarette or liquor once I quit. But man, as soon as that meal prep was over, I was first one in line at McDonald's honking my horn. You move.
Tell me about it.
Like walking to my mom in between, like, could you go get me like 5 In-N-Out burgers real quick? Boy, you ain't got off the stage yet. I know, but I want 5 right now. So as soon as I get off, they're like, I'm peeling them and throwing them back.
So going back to like, okay, I think the majority of our listeners are not competitive bodybuilders.
Yes.
So what are some tangible, I got 2 more I want to touch on. I'm going to blast through these really quick and you can add whatever you feel as well. Because now like you've been out of that life for a while. You still look great. But I'm just saying like, you know, I mean, maybe the things you were focusing on, we can go to Steve post bodybuilding career, but not quite back to sanity yet. Like you still cared. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you don't care. You get what I'm saying. You're going back to normal life.
When I remember... I still ate like a bodybuilder. I'll probably eat like a bodybuilder for the rest of my life.
Agreed.
I get up and go to the gym. They laugh at me at the gym because I've got a dozen eggs. I'm sitting there eating a dozen eggs every day, but there's a Pop-Tart to go with it. So I get a dozen eggs, a Pop-Tart, and some sort of caffeine. That's how I start my day, and I do it every day at the gym. When I'm at the shop, I'm perfect. At the shop, I've got like 9 pounds of chicken in the refrigerator, and I'm eating chicken throughout the day. Everything is perfect. But come the weekend... Man, I'm on first name basis with all my favorite restaurants. They know me on first name. I come in, the chef's like, hey, what's up, bro? We getting that? Yes, we're getting that. I have a first name basis. One of my favorite places is Sancho's. I love Sancho's tacos. I come in, I call on the phone, and as soon as I start getting my order, they go, Steve? I go, yeah. They go, all right, cool. They just hang up. They already know what I'm getting. So once I stopped being a competitive bodybuilder, I can't even say that. I was so good before I found out about human growth hormone. I'm not even going to lie. HGH is like a giant eraser board. It counters everything. That dude right there was the obsessive, eating cans of tuna, going out on a Saturday night with his friends, eating cans of tuna out of a can while everybody else was sitting down eating.
Brutal.
But I did do the CT Fletcher thing. Post-workout, I would get kicked out of Chinese buffets. I mean, like, legitimately, I've been kicked out. Like, here's your check, get out. Like, I used to go to this sushi buffet. They would hide the menus from me. Oh, I was an eater, but I was...
By reputation.
I was trying at that time. My goal, I got as big as 340 pounds, and I'm only 5'10 and a half. I took up a lot of space. So that was my goal, was to be Ronnie Coleman size.
Bro, you could have you might have had your own gravitational pull at that point.
I threw children in the air. They just floated around me. But and I learned food. And once I got sick is when I got really good with eating. And now I completely have a better understanding of food than when I was a competitor. When I was a competitor, I just ate. Being a non-competitor and helping people out, I don't just eat. I have a reason for eating. I put things in certain places. I'm not, as a competitor, man, I remember I didn't eat carbs for 2.5 years. Like 2.5 years, no carbs. Jerk. 2.5 years. Complete jerk. So you just have to learn to understand food, and there's no reason to be obsessive except for that small period of time. I normally tell, like when I tell my clients, I normally tell them, I said, sit down and eat. It's Thanksgiving, sit down and eat. Have a good plate. Don't think about anything. Even my competitors, I sit down and tell them, I said, eat. Take that day to have your food. Don't get up for the table for the next 2 hours. And when you get up, go get on the treadmill. And then you go back to life.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing too. I'm like, man, you can afford yourself a day. And if you're going to do it, I do know that there is a percentage of people that also thrives on like organization, and staying on top of things, being a little bit more dialed and intentional. And there's just some people who are just intense by nature, right? And they just want to go in with a plan. That's more like me. I'm extremely type A. So when I know a holiday's coming by, or this happens on a weekly basis at my house. Like right now, my dad does consulting work here in town still, but he lives in Dallas. He flies in, stays with us Tuesday through Thursday every other week. And when he does that, our whole family gets together and we have a big Wednesday night dinner. Now, this is never clean food, okay? We're white, but we get down, okay? So here's the deal. I know that meal's coming. I prepare accordingly. I start my day front-loading protein. There are a couple other things that I want to leave you guys with some actionable advice that has really helped me in this regard. 3 things are super big, and I never hear them get talked about by the people on the interwebs. Number 1, get a great night's sleep. When you're underslept prior to a big holiday,
sugar is the devil when you're underslept.
Sugar is the devil. But also your cravings are going to be out of control.
Yes.
Okay. Just the way, without getting into neuroscience, it is the way you're wired.
Your body's looking for something to keep it awake.
100%. And sugar's just energy, guys. So ultimately, getting a great night's sleep, getting your whole 8 hours is going to be the best thing you can do. Don't be underslept on a big holiday. Number 2, make sure you are hydrated. Okay. And when we say hydrated, that's not just drinking your gallon of water. That's sodium's my best friend. Sodium, magnesium, potassium out the gills, 48 hours prior to that big holiday. The reason is your body confuses dehydration signals. And remember, you don't have to feel like you're falling over sick to technically be dehydrated. It confuses hydration signals for hunger cues. Okay. So ultimately, we can curb a lot of those by just loading a little bit of sodium and some other essential, take your CalMag, religiously the 2 days before holiday. And the last one, this has been an absolutely massive one for me, is when I'm making that plate, I fill it with protein first and I go sit down. So
Yeah.
I get my turkey, I get my ham. I just kind of look at the plate, and I'm, you're using those Dixie plates, right? With the paper ones, and you know how big they are, the oval ones, and they're festive. They got the little turkey on them. And I grab that thing, I put it on there, I do gravy, whatever, all the accoutrements, but I make sure it's meat. Okay. I sit down and I eat that meat, and I wait 5 minutes before getting up. Remember, like I said, I'm type A, so I set my watch. Okay. The reason is simple. It takes your body about 15 minutes to register, like basically to kick on your digestion and really start working through that food. It's not near completion, but what happens is it starts registering that you ate and that you were satiated 15 minutes after your first bite. What a lot of people, like the chunky chicken you're looking at, do is they wolf down their food. Back to my bodybuilding days, my amateur days, man, I was eating for like it was a job. So I was trying to get through that can of tuna, that chicken breast, that whatever, as fast as I could. And it destroyed my hunger cues forever, because now I don't get those and I willfully ignore them because eating was a job once upon a time. Now, enough about me. You guys can leverage that info to your advantage by simply eating slowly.
Yes.
Okay, that's a huge one.
Yes.
My thing is I eat my meat first. I'm already 10 minutes in by the time I eat a pound of whatever. And then I wait 5 minutes. And then I don't want anything else because my body's already saying, hey, dude, you're full. If the faster I eat, though, you'd be astonished how much Steve and I could probably put back in 10 minutes. Am I right?
You go now.
Yeah. Now, hey, if I'm still hungry, am I going to withhold? No. But I guarantee I'm not going to finish with the same calorie intake as I would have if I would have just said open season for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, everything you said, I was going to say, eat slower. You take your time to eat. You chew your food. Your body knows it's coming in. It gets, yeah. Things I never learned how to do, though. I was a fatty since I was a kid.
I think I jacked myself up. Just ignoring those cues forever. I have zero intuition. And that's one of the main things we teach our clients is like we've got to slow down and start listening, be more intuitive about your eating, and really listen to your body. Dude, I'm that's the number one thing I do as I say, not as I do. I can't do it, Steve.
I literally have learned, and because I was a professional eater, I ate.
Mm-hmm.
I ate. I have learned just to put enough on my plate and call it good. Because if I don't just put enough on my plate, I walk in. There's times I walk into my favorite little spot, Sancho's, and I'll order 2 or 3 burritos and I eat them all right there, and they just look at me and I'm like, it's no big deal to me. This was a daily, every 2 hours I would consume this type of food. So I still can consume. I just have to tell myself there isn't a need to consume that type of food. I still have a desire to consume that type of food. My body still, if I go eat at a restaurant, so there's 4 of you eating? No, that's just my food, sir.
Brutal. Yeah, it was a job, and there are not so many of us on this earth that were literally borderline paid to do what we did. But, it teaches you a lot of lessons. And like you said, guys, if we had to boil this all down into some tactical,
eat smarter.
Yeah, but also know what you're eating. Understand basic nutrition. Okay, what are calories? Their energy. Do I use enough energy during the day, to warrant the calories I'm putting in? Guys, if you're doing the right stuff through the year, the holidays don't matter so much. Have fun with your families. Don't be neurotic about it. If you're type A like me, things that have worked for us were staying hydrated, getting great sleep, and front loading protein, giving yourself time to digest.
You just reminded me of the other reason I hated holidays. The gym was closed.
Yeah. That's another one.
Yeah, that hour.
It's calisthenic day.
I just have to, like that stairmaster. Instead of licking the windows at 24-hour fitness, let me in.
That's right. That's right.
And I think one of the things that people confuse, and I confuse this very much in my years of competitive competing. The only seasoning is sugar. That's the only bad seasoning.
Yeah.
Everything else is fine. Cinnamon's fine. Cinnamon helps curb the insulin. Cinnamon helps with digestion.
You can
Salt,
get a bunch
pepper.
of like processed stuff. I mean, I'm not advocating for processed all the time. I'm a salt and pepper guy, but there's a lot of these that don't have any sugar in them. They taste amazing.
Yes.
Suzy Q's, like the Santa Maria stuff, all that.
There's, like you said, the only negative thing that would, because your body doesn't know what to do. When you eat that whole Marie Callender pie, your body has no idea what to do, and I've done it. That's like you say. Your body has like, oh man, Thursday.
What are you doing?
Thursday I bought a chocolate mousse pie, and between me and the little one, we probably ate it together.
Dang, son.
I had about 5 slices deep before I went, oh, I'm going to nap out so hard in a minute. Your body just doesn't know what to do with the sugar because it's a huge insulin spike. It's looking to toss out some type of energy, and you're not going to do anything but sit on the couch and watch the Cowboys lose, which they didn't, darn it.
Or in the year of our Lord 2023, watch the Packers lose, but we're neither here nor there. So guys, hey, if you're looking for ways to stay clean over the holidays, I hope that this was valuable to you. And if it was, shame on you for not telling your buddies about it. Direct them to this pod. We're going to be putting out a lot more educational content like this, a lot more stuff that really just provides you guys value and hopefully helps, sift through a lot of the nonsense, the BS on the interwebs, from two guys coming from different athletic backgrounds, differing experiences, but, takeaways that have helped us maintain the physiques and the lifestyles that we want without losing our minds.
What do you think about doing an episode on bucking the trends of social media?
Let's come locked and loaded. Guys, what have you guys been hearing on the interwebs lately? Comment down below. Tell us what you would like for us to work through on our next episode, okay? Yeah, I think that's a great idea, honestly. But there are too many of them. That's why I need them, our listeners, to boil it down.
I was looking for the video to send you of the guy quarter squatting. Like he's supposed to be an influencer. He does a dip with 405. I'm like, he's a dip with 405.
We'll do it.
And then he's got this whole thing on how you should eat. And it's giggle. It's just a giggle.
We'll pull up TikTok. They'll work all the sci-fi technology stuff, magic behind the scenes, so we can get on the screen for our viewers. Okay, guys. As always, this has been Muscle Matters. I'm Blake Burnard. If you want to find me, grindhouse_SC. If you're a busy working professional looking for nutrition help, hit us up. Shoot me a DM or email me at blake@grindhousegym.com. Mr. Steve Suthers, where can they find you?
7420 District Boulevard, Sportlander West.
And if you were looking for tips on how to bulk, Steve's your guy. And if you were a competitive bodybuilder looking to get your life on track and win your next show, Steve is your man. Guys, until next time.